Hi everyone, and welcome to my second video. Um, I'm Chris. This is my Chicago-based apartment, and from time to time you will also see my cat, Moxie. Um, so we're going to go ahead and get started here with a warm-up. So go ahead and come to a nice seated position on your knees. You can go ahead and just rest yourself back, roll your shoulders back. Take a deep breath in, blow it out. Start to close your eyes. Start to deepen your breath. You can lower your chest to chin. That's Moxie knocking over my drink. Inhale as you draw your head back up. Exhale as you blow it out. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Hold it for a moment here at the top. And then exhale it out. Again, you can start to lower your chin to chest. And gently start to go vertebrae by vertebrae. As you lower your head towards the mat, start to walk your hands forward, keeping them right about under your shoulders as you come into tabletop. So in tabletop position, we've got our hands under our shoulders, we've got our knees under our hips, and our back is in a neutral position. So starting here, we're going to exhale all our air out, and then inhale, draw your chest up, roll your shoulders back, and gaze upward. And as you exhale, we'll do the opposite of that. Push into your hands, don't your chest or your back. Draw your navel towards your chest and gently lower your chin. Inhale back into cow pose. Exhale into cow pose. One more. Inhale in cow pose. Exhale into cat pose. Now I want you to start to move with your own breath. Moxie, killing me today. It's the second time. Okay. We're going to shift back into child's pose. Take your knees as wide as the mat. Touch your big toes together. And then drop your shoulders. Lower your armpits to the ground. Draw your shoulders back. Exhale it out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale as you start to come up. Walk your hands towards your shoulders. Draw your knees together. Come back into tabletop. We're going to take a minute here just to start to find our breath. And get Moxie to go away. And we're going to come into our first exercise. Just a simple, straightforward, wide grip push-up. So we're going to try to do 4 sets of 10. We'll try to rest 30 seconds in between. And then a total of 4 exercises. First time doing this, so I don't know how far I'll get. I'm going to give it everything that I have, though. I'm really ready to work out my chest. So, here goes nothing. Come into our plank pose. And we'll do a quick set of 10. See how that goes. Nice and controlled. Lower down, exhale out. Breathe in as you push up. Take a deep breath here. Lower down. Breathe in. Exhale out as you push up. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. I'm trying to keep this nice and controlled. 6. 8. 2 more. 9. Last one. And 10. So we're keeping it nice and controlled so that we're sort of matching the pace of movement that we do with yoga, which is very slow and very controlled. So we're going to press back here into child's pose, take a few deep breaths, and then get ready to do our next set of 10. Start to draw your hands towards your shoulders, knees inward, under your hips, come into tabletop, shift back into downward facing dog, shift forward into plank. Make sure your hands are as wide as the mat, and we'll do our next set of 10 push-ups, nice, slow, and controlled. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is very different from weights. Weights is not a constant tension. This is constant tension throughout the whole movement. 2 more. Last one. Tabletop. Press back into child's pose. More breaths here. Start to walk your hands towards your shoulders. Take your knees inward, under your hips, and then go ahead and come into a flat tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under, push back into downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale as you come forward to a plank. Taking your hands as wide as the mat again. For our third set of push-ups. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. Last one. And tabletop. Come back into child's pose. Maybe 4 breaths in child's pose. Okay, that was the last one. Go ahead and draw your hands towards your shoulders. Start to come up into your tabletop. And then we're going to tuck our toes back, push our heels back, hips up, come into downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale to a plank and start our 4th set. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. 2 more. 9. Last one. And 10. Back into our downward facing dog. You can rest a little bit longer here if you like. Let's see how 30 seconds goes. Push-ups are hard, especially when you go nice and controlled. Take a few more deep breaths. Trying to slow down your breath. Okay, so we're going to take about another 30 seconds to prepare. So go ahead and get up to your tabletop, and then you're going to grab a chair. This next exercise is designed to work the tops of your chest muscles. So we're going to elevate the feet, and then we're going to do push-ups. So here's what that looks like. So we'll start by taking it all the way to the edge of our mat. We've got lots of space. We're going to come into almost like we're setting up for camel. You're going to come forward onto your left hand, come forward onto your right hand. So you're almost in a tabletop. You take your right toes and tuck them back as you draw your heel towards your glute. You're going to lift that up. And we're going to do, we are going to basically put our toes, well, let's see how this goes. Let's do the other one. Let's lift the other side up there. Okay, this feels intense. Now I'm going to stick my heels back like I would in a downward facing dog. So, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, we can see. And elevated push-up, designed to work the tops of our chest. We're going to try to do 10. 3, 4, 5. I'm going a little bit faster here because I'm not nearly as strong in the upper chest. And I don't know if I can get to 10 if I go slow. Okay. Lower knees down to the mat, one at a time. Come into your tabletop. Take your knees as wide as the mat. Shift back into child's pose. So the goal here is to do 4 sets of 4 exercises. So 16 total sets, each of 10 reps. That would be no problem with weights. But I think there's a bit of a difference. The weights has got variable time under tension, and yoga is constant, almost constant time under tension. So it trains a whole lot more intensively. Okay, come back into our tabletop position. Take your right heel, bring it to your glute, kick it back, find your chair. Go ahead and rest the top of your feet on that chair. Coming up, and then we'll kick our feet back into downward dog facing position and carry out our next 10 reps. 2, 3, 4, 6, getting really tough. Last one. Okay. Knees down one at a time. Take them as wide as the mat. Push back. Child's pose. That's hard. A few more breaths here. And come on up to all fours, tabletop position. Take your right heel to your right glute. Find your chair. Rest the top of your feet there. Push your feet back into downward dog. And our next set. 2. Let's shoot for 8. That's 8. Okay, knees down. Shift back under your heels. Child's pose. So far, we have done 4 sets of 10, followed by 2 sets of 10, 1 set of 8. I think we can do 1 more set of 8. And then try to get back to 10s for the next exercise. A couple more deep breaths here. come up to your tabletop. Last round, last set. So, tuck your right heel to your right glute, kick your feet back, one at a time, resting the tops of your feet on the chair. Once you've got your knees up, you can push back in your downward dog position, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, I gotta get 8. Oh, people are watching, man. You can do this. Okay. Little encouragement. Back to your tabletop, the child's pose. That was hard. It's gonna be hard in the next round too. So why don't we rest like a minute now, since we're between exercises. Grab a towel, grab some water, run to the bathroom. Try to think of how I want to do this next one. So I don't think it's the most challenging of exercises, but it's one of only a few that I know to work the lower part of the chest. So just like we inclined the feet to work the top of our chest, we'll incline the chest to work the bottom. So come to the top of your mat. You're going to be about 3-4 feet from a chair. I want you to take about half that distance and step forward, and then just go ahead and gently lower halfway and place your hands on the front of the chair here. I've got them lined all the way up to the edge, like my pinky fingers are close to the near edge that's near me. So now I'm going to start to put some pressure or some weight into my shoulders and my wrists and my elbows. So almost to where I can come up off my feet. Then I'm going to take the left foot, step it back. Take the right foot, step it back. Now I feel like I'm in a plank. And then we're going to lower the arms outward. Outward. 1, 2, 3, 4. You need like a really nice contraction in your lower chest. 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Last one. 10. Lower to your knees. Come back into child's pose. Knees as wide as the mat. Touch your big toes to touch. Push your heels back. Draw your hands forward. Lower the chin and chest. Last breath. Draw your hands inward. Come into your tabletop. Press back in the downward dog. Walk your hands towards your feet. Come up into halfway lift. Forward fold. Draw your hands all the way up. Draw them down to heart center as you breathe out. Take 2 steps forward. Now we should be back right by where our chair is. So we're going to take the hands out, bend at the hips, grab the near part of the chair, and step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. And we'll do our second set. 2, 3, 5, 6. 2 more. Last one. Knees to mat. Child's pose. And start to walk your hands back towards your shoulders. Step your knees inward, come into your tabletop, press back into downward facing dog. Walk your hands towards your feet, come up into halfway lift, forward fold. Breathe in as you come all the way up. Arms overhead. Exhale. Drawing to heart center. Take 2 steps forward. Lower down halfway. Grab your chair. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Third set. 2 more. Last one. And as I mentioned, this is not as challenging as the other exercises because you're not bearing as much of your weight. So drop down to the knees. Come into your child's pose. And breaths here. Resting in child's pose. Alright, start to draw your hands back towards your shoulders. Come into tabletop. Press back into downward facing dog. Walk your hands towards your feet. Come up into halfway lift. Exhale it out. Breathe in. Forward fold. Breathe in as you draw your hands up. Come to standing. Lower your hands to heart center as you breathe out. Take 2 steps forward. Lower halfway. Grab your chair. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Fourth set. Lower down. I might have done 12. I wasn't paying attention. Come into the tabletop. Press back into child's pose. Relax. Breathe into the posture. Take a few more deep breaths here in child's pose. Start to walk your hands back to your shoulders. Take your knees inward. Come into your tabletop. Shift back into downward dog. Walk your hands towards your feet. Come up into halfway lift. Exhale as you forward fold. Breathe in as you stand up. Breathe out as you draw your hands to heart center. Take a few deep breaths here. Lower your hands. We're going to get ready for our last exercise. For this, you can use 1 or 2 chairs. I'm going to grab 2 and see how that goes. Okay, got another chair. Here we've got both of them on the mat just so that neither of them slips. So just sort of like a safety thing. I'm gonna grab some water. You should too. Okay, so we're gonna come back into a move that we did yesterday or the day before for triceps. It's going to be very, very similar. So I like to start this one by sitting on one of the chairs and then lifting my feet up one at a time, coming a little bit more forward off the chair until I can lower down. So for this to be effective in working the low chest, we want to take our elbows out nice and wide. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, and 10. Now you're going to start to bend your knees, place your feet down, and then gently draw your hips back to have a seat on the chair. Okay, so that's the harder of the two ways to do it. And to make it harder, this particular version, you would take the chair out even further. But you have to be careful because now we've only got 2 legs on the mat. We don't want this thing to slip. So I'm going to take it away for now. I'm going to demonstrate the next set, which I'm going to do without a ton of rest because that was fairly easy. So we're going to have a seat on our chair, just like we did in the last movement. Take our heels forward, push into our arms, raise our butt, walk our heels forward. Now we're in that same position. Lower the chest, elbows out wide. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. This is an incredible exercise. I'm going to do 2 more since I'm on the ground. You stop at 10. Okay, come back. Have a seat on our chair. We're going to do sort of the same kind of relaxation between sets up here as we did down on the mat, but we're going to do it seated. So you take your arms and just rest them comfortably at your side. Draw your shoulders up as you breathe in, roll them back, and then gently lower them all the way as you breathe out. You can start to lower your chin to chest. If that feels good, you can take your right hand to the back of your head, grab it with the left hand, interlace your fingers, and just gently allow the weight to press into the back of your head, lengthening out the muscles in the back of your neck. Lower your hands. Maybe shake them out a little bit. Roll your shoulders back. We're going to come into our third set. It gets the third set. It feels like a lot of sets. I'm going to do it with the chair again. I'm going to take a wider stance. Hope that I don't go kerplat on my butt. Got this thing sliding a little bit closer. Alright, last, third set, second to last. Here we go. I need 12 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I might need 15. If you feel like it, go to 12. Yeah, I need 15. If you feel really like it, do 15. Oh, careful getting down. Oy vey. It's hard. Roll your shoulders back so you can open your chest. Just by rolling your shoulders back and drawing your shoulder blades together. Relax the muscles of your jaw. Lower your shoulders and relax. you can let your head just gently drop. Maybe arch your upper back, allowing your chin to just fold into the chest. Okay, that's about 30 seconds, maybe longer. Let's start our fourth and final set. Press into your arms and lift your buttocks as you walk your heels forward. That's if you're staying on the ground. If you can handle this, you can handle going up from the ground and doing your last set of 12 to 15. Oh, that was tough. Okay. Alexa, set a timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
Thank you, Alexa. So we're going to rest a minute. And now's the time to get some water and put your chair away. Okay, I'm probably getting close to a minute, so now I'm gonna basically add another exercise because that wasn't enough. But it's gonna be easy, and it's gonna be equal parts core, Alexa cancel timer, and chest. So we're gonna start Alexa cancel timer. We're gonna start standing at the back of our mat. We're gonna bend down into forward fold. Walk your hands forward. And then shift back into downward facing dog. Breathe out. Inhale as you drop your knees. And go ahead and rock back onto your heels, like child's pose. This is puppy pose. So we're going to keep our feet close together. Relax. Start to walk back forward into your tabletop. And then we're going to come into a half plank. So we're going to come to our knees, but keep our hips and our shoulders right in line. So our knees, hips, shoulders, all one line. You can kind of see that. As opposed to that, not a solid line. Okay. So then this is basically we're gonna go up a little bit here, so we work the lower chest. That's what I like to emphasize. And I think this works a little bit of the upper chest too. So we're going to do these modified half plank push-ups. So here we go. We might try for 15, maybe 3 sets. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds. I trust Alexa to carry us home. I'm very tired, and this is getting really hard, but Alexa's got our backs. So we're just going to chill in whatever position is comfortable as we wait for our timer to do our second set of 15, which, if that goes awesome, only have to do one more set. Then we can cool down. So, getting ready, probably gonna happen soon. Come to your tabletop. Rock your butt. There you go. Alexa, cancel timer. Shift forward into your half plank, and gonna knock out our next set. getting very tough by now. Okay, back in the child's pose. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds. You're almost there. So close. Alright, start to come forward into your tabletop. That timer is maybe 10 seconds or less. So, I'm going to start to come into our high half plank. And if you're like me, your triceps might also be burning. Alexa, cancel timer. Here we go, our last set. We're going for 15. There's nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That sucked. Alright, press down to your downward. Let's call it child's pose. Sorry. Child's pose. Probably enough for today. So let's go ahead and start our cool down. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. So, go ahead and just find your tabletop position. Take your wrists, and I want you to rotate first your right wrist, rotate it out to the right, and to where your fingers pointing back at your knee. Match that on the left, and we're going to put a little bit of pressure into our wrists and draw our shoulders back, and at the same time draw our butts back, and we're stretching into the the back and inner sides of the wrists. Shift forward. You can take your wrist grip back to where it was. Take your knees as wide as the mat. Press back into child's pose. Start to come back up into your tabletop. I'm gonna just spend a minute or two just working with hip circles. So all I'm doing now is just alternating side hip circles. They're like half hip circles. If I were to keep going, it would look like this. The other direction. Right now I just want to focus on just going side to side. Opening up the hip. You kind of see like we're shifting back across the hips and knees, and having the opposite motion by the shoulders at the same time. I'm going to step back in the high plank just because I got to do at least one chaturanga. Lower all the way down. Press your toes back and out. Press the tops of your feet into your mat. Lower all the way down. Breathe in as you draw your head up. Shoulders back into cobra. And relax. Breathe out. Breathe in. Exhale it out. Breathe in. Exhale as you push up. Inhale as you push back into your child's pose. Stay in child's pose as long as you need. Alexa, play some meditation music.
Meditation. Free on Amazon Music.
Okay. Start to come up into all fours. Tabletop. And I want you to just turn your body 90 degrees to the right and come into a seated position. With your legs out in front. And you come into a bended leg pose, whatever they're calling this these days. Draw your shoulders back, lift your chest up, maybe rock out your head and neck, shoulders. Breathe in as you draw your shoulders up. Exhale as you lower them down. Take your hands out to the side. You can sort of shift your chest back as you open your shoulders. Inhale as you draw your gaze up. Exhale as you lower down. Inhale your arms up. Exhale them down. Inhale your arms up. Exhale them down. Last one. Inhale your arms up. Exhale them down. Alexa, cancel timer. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day. Namaste.